Now why you wanna go and do that, love, huh? Making things for me towards you harder. Killing me just when I think we there. You douse the whole vibe and the close in the air. Telling me about next man, but next man ain't with the plans. Who got your heart in mind? It's about time that you just unwind and let it just happen, make it.
Yo, what's good? Tuesday, Lucky Lefty podcast. Left, man, beautiful day in the city of Chicago, bro. I see the sun shining behind you out there on the West Coast. Hey, man.
It's a nice day.
Yo, 60 degrees will work for me, bro. I got 3 straight days of 60 looking me in the face.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I might pull the sticks out this week, brother.
Uh-oh.
I might do the double. I might pull the sticks and the grill out, bro.
Yeah, you might have to because you get 3 straight days of that. Ain't no telling. Plus, it's getting into April, the springtime. Well, technically it's springtime, right? So,
well, it's actually spring break this week up here.
Really? Man,
yeah,
I've been in school so long.
Kids are ecstatic. And I used to tell all the kids, like, yo, for us, it was not spring break. It was officially called cleanup week. There was no such thing as spring break. When I was in school, the break was cleanup week or spring cleaning. That was the official name. Now, I saw a documentary about, all these new rules they passed in Miami, I guess because the last 2 years have been so reckless. But college kids come to Miami for spring break. We got the Freaknik documentary coming out. Hopefully, I won't be in any of the videos.
You just see yourself flash little couple of frames. You like, wait a minute, is that Sean?
Yo, I didn't
do it justice though. Can you even? I don't think you can.
No, there is no documentary that can. No, there is no documentary that can give you an accurate portrayal of what it was actually like.
Because it started as a party and turned into everybody just coming type of deal.
Well, a lot of kids that went to the schools in Atlanta didn't go home for spring break. They would stay. So the promoters down there, they started it as a party for all of those students. And then they would invite their friends. And everybody would come and they would invite their families. And then by like the second or third year, it just took off, right? Because look, Left, let me tell you how casual it was. There was no super marketing, super promotion. There was no sponsorships. This was literally just word of mouth. Without technology, there was no text messaging. No social media, anything along those lines. This was just strictly word of mouth, come through, and it took it like 2 spring breaks before it just like mushroom. And you don't understand. Walking down the street, seeing Ice Cube.
Oh, just like
there was no VIP. There was no VIP. Like you could literally be walking down the street.
The celebrities was in the open. That's what made it accessible.
Absolutely. And everyone respected. No one was bum rushing. The only people that really bum rushed the celebrities were the females.
Yeah, because it wasn't celebrity culture yet.
And the ratio was still 5-6 to 1.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
Women to dudes. So the dudes were impressing the females.
So it wasn't like you seen Ice Cube and them and you was like, oh, it was more like, oh, they just here at the party too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's it. And it was just a vibe, bro. It was a vibe. And I think what messed it up is as long as it stayed like that, it was cool. What messed it up is when the bigger factions saw it and said, yo, we can really make money on this.
When it started being
and they tried to commercialize it. And then it lost its luster, right? And then
once it went mainstream, it became not cool.
And then also once Atlanta won the bid for the Olympics in 96, they couldn't allow the streets because they had to present a picture to the IOC.
The world, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, Freeman was buck wild, fam. Anything you thought you could ever see on the street, look, let me tell you, man, I literally saw, man, how can I say this in a PG fashion? I've seen action on hoods. The hoods of the hood of a car left in broad daylight.
In broad daylight?
Broad daylight. Action. Like it was nothing. I'm talking about people on both sides of the car just having conversations and people walking by in the middle of the street. Action. Hood of the car. It was wild. So you can imagine like coming back to Champaign after being there and just the stories like, yo, you didn't have to have a hotel room. As long as you spoke up or sweet talk someone, a female that had a hotel room, you had somewhere to lay your head. Bro.
So it almost sounds unrealistic because to think about all the stuff that had to go on that couldn't do it, that couldn't go on today. It's just like, wow, you know, you just got to sit there and say, wow.
Man, I'm telling you, man, this documentary won't even do it justice.
Like it wouldn't cover the scope of how just out crazy it was.
No. The stuff I saw back then, it would amaze. You know that commercial in the Super Bowl? The Beyonce commercial? When they're asking her, can she shut down the internet?
Yeah.
Freaknik would have shut the internet down.
Freaknik
would have shut the amount of content, videos. Freaknik would have shut the internet down. Easily. It was that bananas. Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. We're going to talk about Marcus Freeman, his press conference, and why he is so happy with what he saw from his team early on in spring practice. We're going to get to Left. There's some scholarship offers going out on Sunday, Left. March 17th. Pot of gold. Going to be some happy young men.
We're at 26 commits.
26 class. 26 class, man. We'll preview that just a little bit. You know, some of the names we've already talked about. There's a new quarterback from Nashville that I'm going to allow Left to check out.
Yep.
And see what he likes.
Yep.
The 26 class is absolutely amazing at the quarterback position. Amazing. They're I've
seen some guys.
There are like 7 to 8 quarterbacks that I think Notre Dame is probably in on, and I wouldn't be mad at either one. I'm gonna just flat out tell you, Left. I would if they get the 8th one on the list.
So it's a wide range of guys that are heavily available.
Man,
this is the class after Deuce, right?
Yes, this is the Ryder Lions, the Brady Schmiegel, the Brady Hart.
Yeah. It's definitely got to be an interesting way we recruit it, because I think they still want to keep a certain order to it. And there's years you break it up. I think Alabama found how to do that, where you breaking it up in certain years. And I think it works better that way. But hey, it's never a bad thing to have a bunch of great talent. It just figures itself out. That's all.
Man, Lucky Lefty Podcast. So we'll get to that. We'll preview that. We're going to watch film on this young man coming up in the second half of the show. Left. I like the young dude. I'm telling you, this 26 class is absolutely amazing, man. Yeah, Noah Grubbs is in that class. Look, man, if this kid we're going to watch today, I'm like, okay. I wish there was a way we could just have them fight it out. You know what I'm saying? Like a tournament?
Yeah.
A Notre Dame 11, Elite 11 or Elite 8 or whatever it is. and just let them battle it out, that would be fantastic. But Marcus Freeman met with the media after practice left. And I didn't finish the intro, man. Let me be correct. YouTube, make sure you subscribe, share, the thumbs up, smash it. Home of the Misguided Passion, forever committed to making sure that we continue to spin it different. And don't forget, patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. We keep adding subscriptions. Thank you guys. You guys have been very gracious, giving us time, especially with what I had to deal with for the last 2 weeks. Shout out to everyone that sent me messages, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or text message, man. We appreciate you guys. Love you so much. My family is very appreciative. And let me tell you something, man. I affectionately call my father my dude every day.
My dude.
Yo, my dude. And we sent him out, dude. He had a 5-hour ceremony, bro. 5-hour celebration.
That's about right.
And no one left. No one left. Absolutely no one left, man.
That's special, man. That's how you want to go. If you want to go, you want people to really be, involved in have a celebratory type of feels, because it's hard. I've always thought about that. Is it a celebration, or are we, doing the crying mourning thing? And I think it's always interesting to see how people go about it.
It's celebration, man. And shout out to everyone. Love, I'll have to take you up to the church one time, bro. They're in the process of naming the street after him.
In front of the church?
Yeah. Thank you to Alderman Anthony Bill. Thank you for Mayor Brandon Johnson for the declaration and the love he showed. My head was high and my chest was poking out, bro.
That's right.
It was very proud, man.
Very proud moment.
Like that's my pops. That's my pops, my dude. And that's the way that Marcus Freeman had his chest poking out. Man, he was Marcus Freeman. This press conference, my man, very happy. And he started it off with this, Left.
It's good to be out there just day one. And it's the first day of spring practice. You don't have pads on, but I love the clean, the efficiency of practice. There wasn't a lot of guys on the ground. I look back to last year's first practice in the spring, and we're having to teach guys really the standards and how to practice. This year, the guys really did a great job of just executing. So it was a good, clean day today. And I got a couple things just since the last time I met with you. Injury updates. Guys that won't be practicing in the spring are Kevin Ballman, Mitchell Evans, Aiden Gabira, Armel Mookum, and Logan Thomas. And then we've had some staff updates, since we last got together. Max Bullen now is our linebackers coach, and is doing an unbelievable job, has earned that right to be the linebackers coach, and I really look forward to see what he does with this unit. Mike Mickens now is the defensive backs coach. He'll be responsible for the entire back end. Now he will have help. Marty Biaggi will take on some assistant DB duties. He'll help Coach Mickens in the back end. And Chad Bowden will now be the assistant AD for player personnel / general manager at a lot of different places. But our title, we call it here, is assistant AD for player personnel. And then Dre Brown will move up into Chad's spot as the director of recruiting.
So, that's a lot of movement, a lot of elevation. Congratulations to everyone. I think what stood out is, and Marcus Freeman broke it down, Marcus Freeman is really intent not just on his players, but the elevation of the coaches that are underneath him. And he talked about basically telling Marty Biaggi, don't get stuck being a special teams guy. You have to add skills to your resume, because he wants guys to leave Notre Dame and to get to the place that they want to go in their careers. And a lot of coaches don't want to do that. And a shout out to Marcus Freeman and the culture, not only that he's establishing for, it's going to pay off. When you establish that type of coaching environment, when you lose coaches, it gives you the environment to go and get good coaches that can replace them left. And I love hearing that.
Retention factor too. I mean, for Marcus Freeman to retaining Al Golden, to Mike Mickens, you elevating guys, Chad Bowens specifically in-house in the office. I think being able to do that amongst where college football coaches are today, where they're leaving for anything. They tired of it. We even saw David Shaw kick it off against Stanford. He said, man, I worked every day. I had, 2 weekends of the year?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm looking to get some more free time. And then you see the dominoes roll over. So Marcus Freeman has had a great hiring process of guys in that right age where they're still building their careers, but great at what they do. And he's spreading the love. He's not just mentioning how excited he is, like you said, for the players, but the coaches also. Shout out to Coach Biaggi, helping out in the secondary, expanding his role. That's going to look great on a resume. You know, you're a special teams coach and you do assistant backfield in the DBs. I think Mike Mickens controlling the whole secondary is really good, preparing him for a DC job in the near future. And that responsibility. I mean, you got 2 first-round potential guys right now with Ben Morrison and Xavier Watts that you're manning the ship on. So super excited to see how Marcus Freeman feels so much better. He almost looks relieved coming into this spring as opposed to last year, the year before, where he's explaining how coaches didn't want to come and how he's able to handle all this distraction. Now he's like, look, I done laid the table and everybody's coming to sit down. They ready to eat. I done slaved over the fried turkey, then made the mac and cheese and went to every store in the city to get the potato salad. And now it's all under one roof and we ready to go. We ready to dine in. So it's really to see, excited to see what happens now. I mean, because like you said, this is a year of no excuses. There is no excuses that Marcus Freeman is allowed to make or the team is allowed to have, because we with the schedule we have and the third year of a program being built under Marcus Freeman, recruiting looking really well. This is the image that he wanted to build coming in 2020.
You know what Marcus Freeman experienced left? You know when we sign up for something, some type of service or app, and they allow you to try it out, right? They give you maybe a 7-day trial or a 14-day trial before they actually charge your card. That's what the first 2 years as head coach of Notre Dame were for Marcus Freeman, because during the trial period, you don't get the full access, right, to some of the benefits of that particular service, that particular website, to get the introductory package. And that's what Marcus Freeman got, right? Coming in with an assistant head coach, coming in with certain things that were already established and having to take the bullet for mishaps that weren't his fault. It was almost like a trial period, right? And finally, he's stepping into the position where it feels like he finally has full access to what it means to be the head coach of Notre Dame football, right? To have the backing of administration, to have the full backing of your athletic director. And he seemed, you can tell by his demeanor that things seem different. It's probably a little bit more than just what he's seen from his guys on the field. It definitely involves the administration, retention, like you talk about, and just the entire vibe around the program. It seems like now, for the first time, everyone is pulling on the same rope in the same direction. And that has to be a good feeling.
Well, yeah, when you got Chad Bowen and locked in tuck, he's not going nowhere. You combine that with the fact that the team is in a perfect position, man. This is not necessarily a young team, and it's not necessarily an old team. This is a team that is primed and should be ready. Those linebackers, Jalen Sneed, Osbury, Bowen, those guys should be ready. It's not like they're first day freshmen trying to get the hang of things. These are guys that we're ready to open the hatch for. Like we talked about in previous years, Marcus Freeman could have been saving those guys to be building up for when their come out party happens. Now they're moving along how we think they should. Where I think Prince Collie may have been a year too early. I think just a year too early. I think him fitting in to what Marcus Freeman is building definitely think that it probably would have worked out better, but we're in that prime position. Linebackers are young and healthy. The coaching for that linebacker room is almost the same, almost coming up the same. Max Boog is coming up with those guys, Drake Bowen and Osbury and Sneak. They're all in it together. This is not like an out of touch coach Van Gorder type that's been all over the world coming into a new crop. This is a coach in Bullock that really knows the room, really knows how to get the most out of those guys and is on the same page. Then you go to Al Golden on the overarching aspect where he's like, man, this is clockwork now. We're in routine. We're in true form. I got my special pieces. I got the guys I'm working in, guys we're excited about. And then offensively, it's been nothing but the excitement factor. It's feeling better. It's one thing to have the pieces where we thought like last year, okay, we had Sam, we got a couple guys here and there. Okay, we put it together right, it'll look good. Now we're like, oh no, this is good. This is what we've been wanting from a structure offensively, and it'll only be more exciting when we get closer to the spring game.
I'm excited because he's excited, Left. I think he's talking and walking and acting like there's a weight off his shoulder. And he was so, let me give you a clear picture. I've seen him the first 2 years in spring practice. Have to be really hands-on, micromanage things. He was so carefree at the first practice, Left. As a head coach, he has full belief in his staff and even how his staff delegates.
That's right.
To the grad assistant.
Yeah, if you elevating guys, that means you trust them.
He's like a true overseer now.
Yeah. He's like, these are guys that I've seen really work hard. These aren't guys that have been accoladed at other places. I'm putting this in-house. These are my in-house raise-ups. It's a little different than the in-house guys he's had, like a Jared Parker or Tommy Reese. This is an in-house where he's probably had his hands on him a little bit more and knows the direction of where he's going because he's been under Marcus Freeman.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Let's get to some more things Marcus Freeman spoke about in the press conference when he talked about the competition at quarterback, Left.
Yep.
Let's hear about this because I'm sure you're excited to hear what he had to say.
You know, again, today was the first practice. I've been impressed with Riley in terms of how he really dove all in to learn the new playbook and that entire room. Like what I've seen is that entire room is really, spent a lot of time in the meeting room trying to figure out the new offense, the scheme. Obviously you have a opinion based off what you've seen in the past with Steve, with Riley, with all those guys. But you still have to make it based off a subjective competition, right? And I want to make sure that we have dialogue, opinions, but we also utilize the facts, right? The different criteria that we're going to use in terms of having a quarterback competition, very similar to what we did last year. And so it will play itself out, right? And the best thing about it is we're in no rush to name a starter. And I think the competition in that room is going to make everybody better.
It doesn't seem like he's tipping his hand to a particular guy, and he's kind of prepping you for saying that guys that you may not have been expecting have been better, making some headway. It's not just a standard, oh, yeah, we brought the transfer in. He's starting right off the bat. You're seeing guys fighting. You're seeing him be encouraged that maybe we are doing it the right way in his mind, right? Maybe we are not forcing this issue on needing a guy to be the head honcho necessarily day one, because he looks around at the rest of the team like, man, we could do some things with just a decent guy in that position. So let's play it the right way where we're not taking or overhyping the competition of it and making it more about putting the right pieces in place.
I'm just happy that there is a competition. I told people, man, Steve Angeli is walking around with confidence, bro. He's flat out walking around with confidence. He is. And he should. He should. You know, and I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of Steve Angeli because every obstacle that could be put in front of someone has been put in front of that young man, and his resiliency to continue to put in the work. It speaks to the job that Gino Guidugli has done with the young man. And for him to come into this situation with Riley Leonard, whatever the NIL package was, however he ended up in Notre Dame, most people expect that he's the guy. And Steve Angeli comes into this camp, has been spoken about being the leader in workouts with players, has not taken one step back at all. He has not conceded at all. Yeah, you know how you get the concession speech?
I don't think there's any personalities in the room that's going to necessarily make him uncomfortable either. I mean, you already heard, come to Jesus Riley. He's probably in there just, being who he is, and it's not a threat. He's not serving as a threat to anybody. So yeah, it's all fun loving. Where Steve can really feel like it's looking around like nobody's gonna try to pull the sword. I heard all the rah-rah before I got in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're doing this, we're making these moves, and I get into the opportunity, and nobody's taking hold of the opportunity. So there's no threat. There's nobody I got a buddy up with. I'm the oldest guy in the room in this juncture, and the transfer is just a transfer at this point. I haven't heard too much more other than that. So I think this is you talk about the great opportunity for Steve, which we talked a little bit about last year. We were saying what is the difference between the two? One just has naturally more confidence because of what he's been able to show and build on. Riley's kind of going from base camp off of what we think he can do. So I think this is Steve's job to really not lose necessarily, but it's his job to really prove to Marcus Freeman that, I know you was searching for a relief pitcher, but I'm your guy right here.
See, I hope people understand. It's like baseball, why baseball stinks right now. Money can mess things up. Because the days I grew up, baseball, your starter went 7 innings left.
Yeah.
And then your closer closed it out. Your closer had to get 6 outs.
Mm-hmm.
Ball game. Now, because of money and salary, you have starters that go 5. Then you get the next guy to get you the 6th inning. Then you get the next guy to get you the 7th inning. Then you got your 8th inning guy. Then you got your 9th inning guy. And it helps with salaries, but it's like the game becomes slow, methodical, boring. And like you said, man, camp now and this camp is exciting because of the competition. Even though Riley Leonard is in there, you feel like you have a guy that's going to come in, is going to come out of this competition as a playoff winning quarterback.
Yeah.
Whoever comes out of the fray, you feel like they're going to be a playoff winning quarterback.
That's right.
In my opinion, that's including everybody except the true freshman.
CJ, right?
Except for CJ. CJ is on the kidding mention pad.
He's on the shelf.
Yeah, you scout.
He's on the shelf. Yeah, If for us to play a top guy right now means we're in a good place, clearly.
Absolutely. Lucky Lefty podcast. He also talked about the offensive line left, what they're going to look like, and who are the starters right now.
I think you have some guys that have started games. Even Charles Jagasaw started a game. But you try to create as much competition as you can, especially in the spring. We know we have to solidify positions as we go into the fall, but we want it to be competitive. And I hope by the end of spring, we'll be able to say, okay, here's probably the guys you will see as the starting 5. But I believe you have 6, 7, 8 guys that are all going to be pushing to be the top 5.
Pretty much the starters from the Sun Bowl are the starters. A lot of people, left guard is going to be a question moving forward. Ashton Craig, in my opinion, has solidified himself at the center position. And Josh Baker didn't have the best first practice. Look, man, Charles Jagasaw is the next one. Okay? People that, because there were rumblings like, man, we can move Charles Jagasaw inside. For what? For what? For what? You have him for 3 straight years. For what?
Yeah.
He played about as well as Joe Alt played early on.
Early on, his first couple appearances.
Absolutely. Go watch the tape when he first got on the field. People expect these guys to be perfect, left. Like they had to be perfect from day one. They're not perfect. Give them time. Ronnie Stanley wasn't perfect. Zach Martin wasn't perfect.
No.
Quinn Nelson wasn't perfect.
It was the culmination over the season where you look up and be like, oh, they were locking up. The only one that really made the splash early on was Q. Everybody else had a natural progression. You know, it was, they got better noticeably each year. The only one that kind of shook the apple cart was Q because he came in just splash, splash, splash. And that narrative was put on Blake Fisher early. And he unfortunately got hurt, but I'm sure he would have had the same type of accolades and love if he didn't get hurt after the Florida State game because he played pretty decently.
Yeah, he was decent. I mean, first true freshman starting the left tackle.
Yeah, I mean, for the expectations, I thought that he was able to do well under those circumstances until, but can't take it away from the fact that the O-line, if you are in that vacuum, where you get in that O-line room, the expectation alone is going to carry you a certain way. Like Joe Alt being able to make a seamless transition like that, and for him to just be in that buffalo of guys that cultivated his mindset, and now he's where he is today. I just think that's what happens once you get in that Notre Dame room. Yeah, Joe's a great player standalone, but just being prepped and defined and shaped in that Notre Dame O-line room specifically, because remember, Houston was bringing out all the big guys to come back. You might walk in that room one day, you see Zach talking to Q, talking to Joe Alt, talking to, Blake Fisher at the same time. Houston may not even be in the room. Right. Then you get Chris Watt coming in, just giving his dissertation on what he thinks. The amount of film that you're amassing. I'm sure Houston was watching Notre Dame tape, Dallas Cowboys tape, the Ravens tape, 49ers tape. And those are the guys in the same room that's watching that being like, that can be me. Aaron Banks looking in the ND room. Next thing you know, he's the 49er. But they're watching tape on him. So it's very it's very attracting to see kind of how it's more of it's a process. You get in that Notre Dame, it's a process. You jump into that process. They're gonna take you along the steps. You're gonna absorb some things that you might not get other places, and it has nothing to do with your talent, just the amount of resources and accessibility to guys that are doing it at a high level. Can't get much better than that. That's like if the quarterback room, we had Brady Quinn coming in there, we had Joe Montana just hanging out around the building, and Joe Theismann just coming in every now and again, adding his 1 or 2 pieces on. You can only imagine what the result and the bottom of what would shake out of that would be for us. I got a chance to throw with Brady Quinn a couple times working out when I was there, and I just know what it did for me. And so to have that involvement, I think makes it better to say, oh, this is the QBU room. Because we know this is O-line U for sure. With or without Harry Houston. So it just shows that this is a set function. And Marcus Freeman just benefiting off of that still to this day.
Man, you just talked about that. I hope that vibe is beginning with the line of quarterbacks that they have coming up, including Deuce Knight joining the fray next year, and then the 26th class that we're going to preview a little bit coming up second half of the show, Lucky Lefty podcast. He also talked about, hey, Left, what's the one thing I said stood out?
That man, Chris Mitchell.
Marcus Freeman was asked, yo, what's up with your transfer wide receiver? What do you think, Coach Freeman?
What did you see from some of your transfer wideouts today?
They can run, right? And I think I saw more deep balls caught, in this practice than I've seen in a long time. And so it was really good to see, right? And it's going to be great for both sides. The speed, the ability to throw the ball downfield is going to obviously be great for our offense, but it's going to be a great challenge for our DBs. And so, I can't wait to see this competition as we go throughout the spring.
Ben Morrison would tell you they tried it. They tried it. More than any practice I've ever seen, the Notre Dame offense tried it consistently. They went deep often. And something that was said to me, I was sitting next to Brian Driscoll, and you can tap into this. And Brian Driscoll, as we watched practice, he said Mike Denbrock has the quarterbacks reading top down. They never did that with Tommy Rees. And I was like, just explain that and what that means, Left. Like for a quarterback, when the OC has you reading plays top down rather than in the reverse.
Well, a lot of that could be Denbrock's is saying if you see it, there's a chance of taking it. I remember Brett Favre always explained when he went up to the line, no matter what the play was, if he looked outside and he saw that press coverage and he feel like he can take that deep route right away, it didn't matter what the play was. He only got to the play when he peeked and didn't like the deep route. So it's just a method of thinking. If you can get the big shot, take it. We'll live to see another day. Now, obviously, it's a moderation to it, but that's where you develop the gunslinger mentality. This is the, high volume, high reward, high risk type of play that when you see it operate at a nice level, a balanced, nice level, you get a Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman. Because you're taking the shots. You're taking chances in a sense. You peeking out there to see if you like it. If you like it, the play is going to be the play. And for Denbrock to have the comfortability to trust those guys, he's saying the more you throw it down the field, the higher success rate if you give them a chance. And that was always something that Brian Kelly preached about when Denbrock was there, was just give guys chances. You don't got to be perfect down the field, but if you give him a chance to be the athlete we recruit him to be, you're going to be all right. If you throw it out of bounds, you don't have a chance in hell. So I think this also helps the quarterback relax a little bit. Okay, on second down, if we like that go route with Chris Mitchell on the outside, we take it. We'll come back to the play, and, we're not going to give up on the play, but it's about mismatches and taking the opportunity to reach downfield. So top down is a great ideology. Now you're going to run into you might have a couple more picks, might have a couple more unforced turnovers, but you're going to have a consistent point average. You're going to get guys being noticed. Guys are going to be happier to play in offense when they're getting these deep chances. And the offense can make sense. We're slow roasting teams over time, where it might be 20-17 by half, and then it's 58-20 at the end of the game. This type of mindset offensively, we're getting on teams early and often. We might jump out 35 in the first half, game be over, and we putting our backups in. That's the idea that you want to have when you're more aggressive and you're actually playing offense, not defensive offense.
So, Left, when you think about that, does that impact the defense as well?
Yeah, most teams get locked in and set in because they're playing top down on us. They're like, oh, we got to eliminate the run. We got to get on these guys. We got to make sure that we can be comfortable taking the one-on-ones on the outside because they're not going to threaten us deep. So you see previous years where you're like, oh my gosh, we're running one-on-one. Tobias has nobody on him. He's just Clemson game last year. Nobody guarding Tobias. He's just running track. He's not even looking back. He's not even looking back for the football, and he's burning his guy one-on-one. And defenses were okay with that. defenses were okay with that because they're like, well, as long as they don't run for 250, we can live with them taking shots down the field because they don't do it. And even when they have it, they don't do it enough to beat us in the game. So teams are like, third down, we're playing in the box, 8 in the box, and we're playing press on man because we're going to live with them trying to throw it deep because they never do. They're always looking to go short to high or whatever the case is. Now with this mindset with Denbrock, you can't give us those looks because we're going to throw them on first down, third down, fourth down. We're going to look to take advantage if it's there. So that changes the structure of defenses being more cautious, saying, okay, well, we might have to go two shell. Because, yeah, we want to get them off the field, but we don't want to mess up and get a 50-yard plus gain or a big explosive touchdown because we're just trying to hunker down and get them off the field. We're trying to stop them from bleeding us to death with the run game. But we got to be careful at this particular area of the field because they might launch it over our head with a Chris Mitchell. And we've seen it on tape. We've seen them take advantage of guys when defenses do this. We've seen them take advantage. We haven't proven enough that we can take advantage of these deep threats, which is why teams play us the same way no matter who the quarterback's been. And I think that makes the intimidation factor a lot harder for the offense when defense is going into the game knowing what to expect. All right, they're going to run the football. We just got to stop Aldrick. And then they might throw it deep on us, but we know we can be more aggressive than they are on offense. They can be more aggressive.
Yeah, what I'm wondering, Left, is I think about what we've struggled with defensively. Very solid defensively, but we've struggled in space or teams that get the ball into space and getting guys on the ground.
Yeah.
And with this speed now offensively, particularly at running back and wide receiver, I'm very interested if it improves the tackling for our defense. That I'm very interested in seeing that moving forward.
And I think that attitude is going to come from Max Bullock. Max Bullock is going to be aggressively on them about tackling and being that and just having the mindset of that expectation of, oh yeah, we're not allowing that type of stuff to exist in this new culture. And I think that's where Max was kind of just explaining the difference between having guys that know the game and has a certain tenure or legacy that they've been here for a minute so they know how things go. With this new crop of guys that are hungry and trying to get more experience in plays, things like missing open field tackles are way more valuable and way more of an expectation than just knowing your job. Because when you're learning your job, you're in the job learning it. Mm-hmm. They said the on-site training. You're getting on-site training, you're not necessarily in the field yet. You're on-site training. So in on-site training, the basics matter the most. Tackling, running, effort, attitude. That's the base layer that these linebackers have to really harp in on, which I think is a great year when you're mixing Max Bullock and that expectation going, is that open tackles is the expectations bring them down. There's no whiffing or being there and you so smart you was there before the play, you just missed the tackle. No. The first thing we're going to establish that open field tackles is our specialty. That's how y'all got here. The athleticism and all of that, that's how you guys got here. So now we have to look at it as, okay, we're going to teach you all the ins and outs as we go, as you get more reps. But what we want to see right now is the savages. That speed and power and all that, that's how you get on the field early, and making them open field tackles is how you stay. Because if not, you're going to have a guy like Jack Kaiser that knows what he's doing and all of that, and that's good, but that's not going to take it over to the top.
I'm hyped, man, because I think this is going to benefit. Like I said, they tried it, and Ben Morrison still stood on business.
That's right.
He still stood on business.
That's the first round guy.
Like, okay, all right, keep coming at me. And that's what I love, right? And it can only make him better as he goes up against the top receivers and takes Cam Hart's position pretty much as that senior leadership in the defensive back room, Lucky Lefty podcast. So how are these reps? How are you building the competition at each position? Like, are the ones getting more reps? Are the twos getting more reps? Marcus Freeman talked about that.
I think you just gotta. It takes time to really script it out, right? And you don't look at who's with the ones, twos, and threes as much as you look for the total amount of plays and how you can make sure that each person is getting the total amount of plays that they need, so you can make an opinion as a coach and evaluation. So that to me is what's most important. Is yes, you'll rotate who's with the ones at certain times, but let's evaluate the plays and really not exactly what group they're in, and that's kind of how we've been doing it.
Bo Collins, Rod Hurd, just in terms of when they'll be available for you, just sort of that process is a bit unique.
Yeah, they're both still enrolled at their previous institutions, and so they're only allowed to observe meetings and observe practice, but they're both living here.
Man, that was an interesting tidbit right there. They're still enrolled in Northwestern and Clemson, respectively, probably taking online classes, but now living in South Bend and able to take part of meetings and also observe the practices. So,
what stood out to me is that Marcus Freeman said, "Yeah, we're not looking at players, we're looking at the plays. Who's out there shaking it up and being the best of the group? Yeah, we evaluating everything, but we're looking at plays because we need to put the best on the field, and we'll filter out everything else. But that film's not gonna lie. We see Jaden Osbury popping stuff every day. It's just a respect. Okay, well, he might have to be in the ones because he's hot right now. It's not taken away necessarily from the respected guys in the unit or whatever the case is, but Marcus Freeman said we're putting the best players on the field. That's what I took from it. Yeah, we got legacy. Yeah, we got veterans. Best guys play. So if you're a film evaluator, that always bodes well for how you arrange your depth chart because it would align with the locker room. Guys in locker room know who should start. Period. Guys in locker room know, okay, we're going to win. He got to be out there. It's just what it is. Yeah, I want to play. But, it would be wrong. Everybody would think it would be wrong if I'm playing over him and everybody think he's the better option right now. So when you're evaluating the film, and you're doing it right, it's always going to align with what the locker room thinks. Once that disconnect happens, that's where you get the trouble. So Marcus Freeman is acknowledging the fact that the film is going to allow the depth chart to play how it plays out, and I think that's the perfect way to go about it to be fair in a competitive standpoint like this.
I'm just super amped, bro. Everything, look. We can just roll to the next one. I think we have one more left here. Marcus Freeman, he was talking about the impact of Lauren Lando and what he loves about not the ins and outs of, stretching and this particular movement, but the players and their buy-in is the most important thing in his opinion.
I am no strength and conditioning professional. Squat versus lunge versus leg press versus bench. But I am, observing the buy-in, and that's what I've been most pleased with, the buy-in from our players to his leadership, the way he's training them, and that to me is impressive, right? To be able to gain that trust and buy-in from your players in such a short period of time, and he's been a great partner, right? And our sports performance team and our meetings. The ability to utilize some of his ideas and previous experiences has been huge in terms of making sure we are doing what we feel is best for the player, the individual, to perform at the level they have to perform.
And then regarding Benjamin Morrison, I think last year in fall camp, the message to him was, don't get complacent, keep improving after his great freshman year. Now that he's entering his junior year, what's the message for him? What are the next steps in his development?
The exact same thing, right? Is that the challenge I have for myself and everybody in our program is we're chasing being the best version of ourselves. That's going to make Notre Dame football better, right? Is that Benjamin Morrison is chasing to be the best version of Benjamin Morrison, and Marcus Freeman is doing the same thing. And so everybody, what's the goal for the spring is that you get as close as you can to being the best version of yourself, which in turn will help us, as we say, reach our full potential. So it's still the same challenge.
Look, man, it's right there in front of you. We have the goods. Go manifest it. Whether it's Benjamin Morrison, whether it's Drake Bowen, Jaden Osbury, Jalen Sneed, Riley Mills, Howard Cross taking the next step after a fabulous season last year, Riley Leonard, Steve Angeli, doesn't matter. Jeremiah Love having his opportunity, Jadarian Price having his opportunity, Chris Mitchell already being on the radar of NFL scouts, using the Notre Dame brand to take it to the next level. Could Chris Mitchell be a first-round pick if he comes in and he puts up 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns for Notre Dame and runs a 4.3 at the combine? What's next for him? It's all right there in front of everybody, individually, as a team, as a coaching staff, and you have to love the buy-in to Lauren Landau as far as the way Marcus Freeman sees it from his observations. That's a good sign, man. It's a good sign. I don't care, because for me, it's like dieting, right, Left? You can pick any diet in the world. You don't commit to it, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to commit.
It's a commitment factor. And I think the buying in portion of the Notre Dame football team, we can put the check on that box. I believe Marcus Freeman can put the check on that box where he feels like he has enough control over the team where they're going to buy in and run through that brick wall that Marcus Freeman is saying that we got to go through. And I think that's where the charisma and the energy comes from when he's on the podium, because he's like, look, I snap my fingers, they ready to run. They ready to go. And so that also goes with the control from the top down. We talked a lot about dysfunction, and it's not just on the field. It starts from in the offices and it climbs up with the cleaning of house in a way, with the new employees and guys coming in at the right time, right place. Marcus Freeman is saying, okay, if I look up, that's organized. So looking up, we got some organization. Looking down is going to trickle to everybody else. So I'm more of like this relief where I can be that connecting piece. Now I got answers why things aren't certain ways, why we can or can't do certain things, because I don't have the hand in my back being like, say this, or we're doing this, but cover for me here. Now it's like, okay, I can make a decision. I can send it up and it can go down in both directions. And I know we're going to keep that same message and we're going to be able to progress forward.
I love it, Left. I absolutely love where everything sits. And I think the excitement amongst the fan base should be, especially with college football playoff expansion, playoff or bust. If you want to take it to national championship or bust, that's fine. If you want to take it to semifinal or bust, that's fine. But there should be an elevation from the Notre Dame football program in year 3 of Marcus Freeman, starting down in College Station in August of 2024. Lucky Lefty podcast Left. When we come back, I'm going to show you a young man that I think you're going to love at the quarterback position, and we'll talk about the pot of gold that's coming for the 2026 class from the Notre Dame staff this Sunday. Lucky Lefty podcast, you already know. We spin it different.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag, because you know, if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
That cat Derrick Henry went to the Ravens, Left.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, the league's about storylines is the only place I felt like he could have went anyway. Because that's just, I mean, Lamar and Derrick Henry is a perfect matchup. I think it's going to make it really tough for teams now, because now the Ravens can go draft a Xavier Worthy if the Chiefs don't get him first. There's a lot of receivers you can draft in this class, but, you know, it was so funny. It's so funny that I had told when Xavier Worthy ran that time, I had tweeted right after and said, this is the luxury of having a guy like Pat Mahomes, because you can be sitting 32nd in the draft, see a guy on TV run the fastest ever, know he's not the first pick, and know you still got a shot for him. So it's just a matter of time. I'm not surprised if the Chiefs pick up Xavier Worthy, 32nd pick, and all the picks before will make sense. All the picks, all the other 31 teams got guys in mind already. Xavier Worthy's just that luxury of the Kansas City, establishment. But that happens when you got a guy like Pat Mahomes who can just take a guy like that in as a rookie and turn him into, one of the better pass catchers of the league at times. So it's just funny what happens when you have a great organization and a great quarterback. Draft placement don't matter. You talk about other teams, they desperate to get up. They jump up in the draft or whatever. Kansas City, like, look, we can win. We can book the Super Bowl trip for this year, this time next year, right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're not worried about trade positions. We just had the youngest defense. We just had a bunch of rookies go win us the Super Bowl. We got
Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes in the islands like this.
Yeah. They're like, who you want?
Free agency started yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, we locked up Chris Jones Sunday. Oh, okay, yeah, we can chill. We can chill. While the Bears are sitting up there struggling, feeling like they're drowning. Feeling like they drowning in the shallow end of the pool.
They drowning because what are you going to do? Atlanta already messed up the apple cart. Atlanta already told you. They said, look, we'd rather take a guy off an ACL than handle y'all Chicago problems.
Don't worry, Atlanta's on the petty train today. Oh, I got something to say for them. Definitely. Y'all gonna pass
We're gonna give him $100 million guaranteed off the ACL.
And you passed up that dude.
And we passed up a healthy Justin on the rise. And
No. Let's go back the year before.
Oh, with Lamar?
You passed up Lamar.
Yeah.
To give a dude coming off a torn Achilles $100 million?
Yeah, we know where your mind's at.
The NFL gets super dumb when it comes to quarterbacks. Super dumb.
Super dumb with certain guys because they don't get super dumb with Sam Darnold, who's getting picked up as soon as he get off on waivers. They said he was so hot that he had choices. How Sam Darnold have choices? Still, I mean, he hit the waiver wire, boom, picked up ASAP. Vikings, good.
Man,
so it's funny how it works.
Woo, man. Left Pot of Gold is on Sunday. And Pot of Gold every year on March 17th, which is great marketing by the University of Notre Dame. They send out their official offers to the 2026 kids. Some of those kids have already been offered. But it is amazing to me to watch some of these young men progress. And I've actually I'll say this. Can I preface this? You see the smile on my face, Left. You see the smile on my face. You see it. You see the smile on my face. You know why the smile is on my face, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? Because I've talked to people here in Chicago, and Notre Dame's in on the best dudes in Chicago in the 26th class. I'm happy, Left. You see my smile? They finally planting the flag, Left. They finally planting the flag, Left. All the top dudes in Chicago, Notre Dame's talking to. I'm feeling good. I can't wait for the official word to come out. I can't wait for the official word. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for the official word to come out this week. Now, I don't mind if the mid dudes don't get something, but you got to be in on the top dudes in Chicago. You just have to as Notre Dame.
Yeah, you got to be on the top three guys' mind.
Yes.
Just because you got to be on the top. You may get 11. You may get a 15. Mm-hmm. You may get a 5. Mm-hmm. But you got to be on the top three's mind. And then we'll work about securing them as time goes on. But if you can stay, you can't leave Chicago without Notre Dame being an option. That's how you know, okay, that puts it in. If you get a Notre Dame offer out of Chicago, you're a top 3 player in the city. That's what that means. That's why you got to be consistent in a top 3 athlete in Chicago's mind, because that's the qualifying factor. Because people pay attention to that. Justin Scott had a decision between Ohio State, Michigan, Miami. Notre Dame was on the back end. But if Notre Dame was in that top 3, it's tough between Miami, Notre Dame. That conversation is going to trickle down to the next top 3. Because they're going to be like, why didn't he choose Notre Dame? They just won a national championship, just won 11 games. Mm-hmm. Like, dang, like maybe it's something he missed that I won't miss as a top player in Chicago. It set the trend. It'll set the trend.
Hey, they kept a smile on my face this year, Left. You know, last year I was like, hey, my boy didn't even get an offer on March 17th. You know, they really weren't even pushing for him as of January. And you see how that went. I'll say this, Left. They might be able to get a dude in the 26 class out of Chicago that might be better than my boy Jay Scott at the same position. I'll just leave it at that. Or not the same position, but on the D line. I'll just leave it at that. More impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to be honest.
330 suckers.
I have to be honest. I'm excited, man. I really am. And there's some that I feel like they can take a step back and say, you know, let me invite them to a camp, Irish Invasion, and let me watch them. And maybe jump on them late because they are in Chicago. And I'm cool with that. Because the 26th class is all the way live. All the way live in Chicago. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I tip my cap. Let's see if they can put in the work. Because I think they can lock these kids up quick, fast. I really do. I really do. Oh, man. Jared Curtis, junior quarterback, and Left. This is just his sophomore film. The combination of this young man, he plays quarterback and outside linebacker, Left. Now that's different. That's different.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's different. You see his stats there. Just tell me what you see, Left.
This is the first quarterback that we've ever taken to play dual positions. Now it's becoming unfair. We used to think it was reserved for just the outside of the quarterback positions. Now it's not even that can save you. So you got to be able to do just about everything except coach if you want to come to Notre Dame. Clearly, this kid is likes playing with his food. You know, he's probably in a position where he's the better athlete, and he's playing instinctual. He's not a CJ Carr where he's got the 3-step, the 5-step, he's technical, he's boom, boom, boom. This kid is like, listen, man, I'm just out here, man. I'm the high school quarterback, and hell, if the team needs some tackles, I can do that too. So, you know, I'm not looking at this from a QB standpoint. This is just a kid that likes playing football. He's going to look probably the worst out of the quarterback room from drills, throwing the football on air. He's not going to look pretty. But when you throw him in the game or give him some team reps, you're going to be like, oh, okay, he can move the chains. He's a chain mover. Is he a guy that can win you a national championship? I don't know. I think this is more of you'll play something by the end of your time at Notre Dame. Just because I think quarterback position at this point is still specific to you got to be technical. You got to have certain things that as a skill need to be elite. Is he great skill-wise as a quarterback? I mean, I'm probably sure we can find better guys. But from an overall instinctual athlete that can just play if you give him an opportunity, I think he can make plays that, you know, would add something to the room. I don't think Kenny can move like this necessarily. But if we had to just drive down the field and we needed 10 plays to score, I think Kenny's the one in position to be better to do that. But if this is we're playing against a Rice, you know, and we working in the 2s and 3s, he's a kid that you can put anybody with and he'll find a way to make it happen because he's instinctual. He's an athlete. He's going to run around. He's going to make some exciting plays. But this is how the kid eats. This is how he eats. He eats off schedule, run around, oh, I see a guy deep, let's take it early. But he's not going to be in there saying, oh, I need to run this specific play to, work my favorite angles and all that stuff. It's a kid that's like, coach, call it, I'm going to run it, and we're going to make it happen. And I think that works to a certain extent. I don't think it works in the top tier as much, because at some point you got to be able to lock in, and be consistent. So, yeah, I think this is a great kid to add to a room that is very versatile. I mean, we got guys that are very technical. We got guys that have some unique abilities. We got super athletes coming in, right? We got an athlete in there now that can do similar stuff to what this kid can do. I think he's more fluid of an athlete than a Riley Leonard. Like, he makes it look a lot easier, a lot more fun to watch than a Riley Leonard. So, I think this is a pickup that is a little different, but, he fits into the category of what Marcus Freeman is looking for. You got to play a little bit of everything. You got to be a well-rounded football player if you want to come to Notre Dame, and that's not excluding the quarterbacks these days. Because a lot of what this kid does is you can't teach it, right? You're not going to be able to teach an off-schedule play, just go get a touchdown. Or, if it play breaks down, you go opposite by yourself and outrun everybody. That's not a teachable thing. So he's got those type of qualities that you want in a quarterback, a little bit of an it factor guy, I can tell. But, I think it adds more to the benefit of how the room can be more competitive, as opposed to it just being a one set way that we've used to seeing from a Tommy recruited quarterback.
Can I give you a comp of who he reminds me of, the way he moves?
Zach Wilson?
No, don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful.
Hey, Zach Wilson, first pick of the draft now.
Come on, man. We said Zach was going to be trash. We knew Zach was going to be trash in the NFL.
No, but in high school, though, Zach was the man.
No, I wouldn't disrespect this young man. Just watch his movement and how he moves like Ben Roethlisberger. His drop back is just like Ben. The way he runs it's very similar to Ben. He's a sophomore. He's 6'4", 225, left. As a sophomore.
His brother is definitely in very good with his feet. You can tell that he's hard to bring down, and he's got a creativeness to him. And he's just a master of his own abilities, right? He's not sweating the defense at all. Sometimes guys can overanalyze what the defense is doing. He's like, look, I'm just looking for open guys. I'm the bigger player out here. I'm more athletic than some of these guys. So I'm just playing with my food. So I think Ben Roethlisberger is a pretty good comp, but he just reminds me of like one of those kids that I'm going to just be out here playing, man. I'm not really worried about being perfect, which I think is pretty cool, man. You get a kid that plays kind of carefree-ish, that adds to some highlights that you can make on game day. But it's only so far. I mean, I think if this is the direction we're going, then it'd be interesting to see how fun this team can look.
But
you got your quarterback playing linebacker too.
He is probably out of the 8 guys that they're going to be interested in, he might be 7 for 8. And that's what I'm saying. If he's the one, if we have to fall on him,
it's not bad. Yeah,
I ain't mad. I'm not mad at that at all.
He's definitely a guy that you can throw out there and be like, well, he's gonna do something. He ain't gonna play nervous. He ain't gonna look like he needs a development, so to speak. It's more like he gonna take his little opportunity and run with it if we give him enough chances, which is cool to get that feeling from him. It's like, okay, I can close my eyes if we need a time to, if we need a time to get there, we can figure it out.
I love that kid, man. Love his film. Like you said, just instinctive, playing the position, plays it with the defensive mindset, right? He's a linebacker and also a quarterback. Nashville Christian out of Nashville, Tennessee. Jared Curtis, 2026 quarterback. If that is the floor of Notre Dame quarterback recruiting moving forward, because the floor used to be Drew Pine and Andrew Hendricks and what that whole era stage we went through. No disrespect to those guys, but I'm just saying that was.
Yeah.
Yes. Marcus Freeman has definitely improved the direction of quarterback recruiting in Notre Dame. Just the offers. Forget who commits. Just the kids we're offering at the position. Far better. Much more better than what was previous. So I'm excited about it, Love.
Super excited. And I think that it's just one of those things where we just want to see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
We've speculated a lot on the potential of things and how some things can come together. But man, it's almost exciting to see, well, what direction are we going to go? Are we going to be a running back centered focused team that we can still beat? Are we going to be adventurous and branch out and really try to work on the passing game like we really can? So I think there's that excitement level is only pushing that joy that Marcus Freeman is showing on these press conferences. He's really excited about what he's got. And for it to be as early as it is in spring is different than when he was saying, oh, we got to figure out what we're going to do. We got to play this competition right. We got to get guys out there, see what they look like. Now it's like, man, listen, I feel sorry for the team we go against because it's all love over here. It's doing really well.
Hey, man. I'm sitting here looking at the probables for this class, Love. Notre Dame has changed the measurables for every position they recruit, Love. Especially defensive. We've already seen the change along the offensive line.
That kid is 6'4" as a sophomore.
225, dude.
This is a Gino Gaduli accent. Ever since Gino got there, he's been recruiting these overly sized, giant quarterbacks. Ain't no more Drew Pines, ain't no more Tyler, ain't no more Maliks, ain't no more Evs. No. 6'3" and up. And not even that. Now you gotta be able to tackle people.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny when you talk about guys recruit guys they see themselves in. Gino Gaduli is like, man, I need a 6'4" Desmond.
He's a taller guy.
Yeah,
he's a taller guy. Yeah.
So I see it's gonna work if we got other 6'4" dudes. So I'm gonna bring in a dudes. CJ 6'3", eye level, that works. Kenny kind of tall, that works, but I'm going higher than that. I'm going taller than that. Kenny Harris saved Kenny. Or he'd be on that short end of the stick. Hell, Riley's 6'3", 6'4". So Gino Gaduli is recruiting guys that he can see himself in, and that's why I said this about Tommy, that Tommy's recruiting guys that he sees himself in, and it's a totally different scale. Tommy bringing in Deuce Knight is very unlikely. That's why I didn't bring in Dante. But he can see himself in a Drew. He can see himself in a Brendan Clark. He can see himself in a Sam Hartman. Gino Gaduli can't see himself in no Sam Hartman. That's why he barely was hands-on with him until the end when he was like, dude, you got to throw that touchdown. And Clemson. We started seeing Gino pop up more on the TV criticizing Sam on the sideline than it was ever like how he is with Deuce. Come out here, stand in the middle of the field with me. 6'5" partner. You look just like me, man. We 6'5" together. We out here overseeing everything. So I think it definitely is a trait that is, I don't know, it's funnily picked up. Because does that mean Coach Martin saw himself in me and Ev and Deshaun? And so that's funny. But I do think that this crop of recruits is matching up. Because now the O-line, I mean, my goodness, that's averaging 6. You damn near need a 6'5", 6'4" quarterback.
I feel bad for a 6'2", 6'3" old lineman. You have no shot.
Yeah, you have
an
no
offer
shot.
from Notre Dame right now.
You know, we had Parker Boudreaux standing at 6'2", maybe. At a time, we got a Ronnie, a McGlinchey, a Q, a Nick Martin, a Steve Elmer. It's like you clearly ain't fitting in the picture. It ain't even about nothing else. Like, I can see why it's hard for you to play because you just physically are not even on the same level as these other guys. So it's just one of those things.
Lucky Lefty podcast. So moving forward, left in the 26 class as you see it now, and just finishing off the 25 class, you know, what is it specifically? I know you definitely want to see the beef recruited, not developed at Notre Dame, but you want to see the beef recruited in the 25 and 26 class. Is there anything else? Like, because we've looked at Ryder Lyons, we've looked at Brady Schmiegel, we've looked at Trey Hume, we've looked at Jared Curtis, we looked at the other quarterbacks in there, Noah Grubbs. Like with quarterback and the big guys in the middle, you know, what else stands out to you from the 25, 26 class that we need to do to close the gap?
Man, honestly, it's definitely addressing size, which he is, but getting the nasty players. Give me some guys that give me a little bit extra after the whistle in the D-line perspective. Yeah, we have very polished, upstanding citizens at D-line. I just think the character traits of a D-lineman, some of them just got to be a little more raunchy, a little more edgier of a player. I think that adds to the makeup of a room where we've had a lot of friendly, upstanding dudes in that D-line. You got Jonathan Bonner, you got Dalen Hayes, Khalid, Kareem Ade, right? Riley Mills, you got Howard Cross, very, very upstanding. Tyson, right? But then you throw in a Civiliano in there. It's like, you know what? I don't have to like all you guys. I'm trying to take somebody's spot. That's what mixes and stirs the pot. Now Al Washington isn't like everybody's all good. It's like, no, I got to make some decisions. Put the pressure on the room in recruiting. So that's what I would say for 25. That running back room has pressure. So much so we had to move some pieces around because there wasn't enough footballs in the running back room. Dean McCullough saw that early. He said, wait a minute. He looking in that room. He said, I thought the room cleared up with Aldrich leaving. I thought we got more organization with Aldrich leaving. But I turned around. I'm like, wait a minute. We got one football for all this talent? Somebody going to have to get kicked off the running back island.
Not the island.
It's a survivor. Because at the end of the day, the talent is increasing. The talent coming in is special. The running back room is working on 3 years and out. Ain't too many 4-year guys hanging around there no more. So that's going to raise competition. That's going to raise the stakes. And sometimes you might not make the cut. It ain't got nothing to do with Devin not being good. But you just not 12. You just not 24. You just not 3. You just not those guys. And so I think that's what makes it really cool to see, because now you're like throwing in the other mix where now you got to think about the passing game. Before it was gravy. Oh, we're gonna run no matter what. We're gonna cycle through these backs. They're gonna get at least 10 touches apiece. But now you got Chris Mitchell, who you're like, the 10 may go down to 7. You know, he may be couple, because we got to throw him some swing passes, some quick tunnel screens. We got to try and beat. Then Brock's preaching top down. That don't sound like backfield. So something going down the field, you know, and I think that identity is going to matter. So that's where the running back efficiency has to come in. If you're getting that rock 5 times, you can't just get 2 yards here, 1 yard. You got to make the most out of it. Because I think it'll open up more if we can be more efficient running the football, because we're going to need some time developing that new passing game. We're gonna have to iron some kinks out because we're just not used to it.
You talking about 2-3 games?
It'll take the first 2 or 3. The Texas A&M game, I think, will be a little slow because, in my opinion, I don't even think they know how they're going to roll out first game because it's going to be like we got way too much. We can go traditional, we can run the football, or we can work on what we've been building all off season, right? Developing this talent that we're finding in the passing game and meld that into making it more balanced potentially. But they're going to play with the percentages. Start out heavier running, leaning on the running. But if Chris Mitchell running by people and Jordan Faison getting his little yards in there here and there, and we can get a quarterback that seems like Steve, who, like you said, he's quick and accurate. He ain't wasting a lot of time getting the ball out of his hand. If we can find that connection there, I think we off and running.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Great show today. Super chat. I got Thomas. How close are we to getting the kid from Alabama? Let it play out.
They play out.
Yeah, man. I'm not jumping out there. I have some thoughts, but like I said, I'll just let it play out. Garland Doxy, thank you for your comment from earlier. Sean, you need to start a golf outing in his name and remembering of him. I'll come play. That's what's up. I actually talked to the director of his golf classic, and it will be July the 8th. That's a Monday, 2024. And we have it down to 3 golf courses in the Chicagoland area. So I'll make sure you get that information, Garland, as well. Marcus Freeman, he feels good. I feel good. Left feels good. Man, I can't wait to get back up there for spring practice and hear more tidbits coming from the practices as they happen. Don't forget, March 17th, this Sunday, Pot of Gold 2026 offers going out. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing. Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you. You don't? No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, pettiest story of the day, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey at NORAWhiskey.com, the premium American whiskey at NORAWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do so
responsibly.
Left, I hate to do it. I didn't want to do it. But I have to. Yeah. Okay.
Everybody was emotional and tearing up, but our team done been through hell. Like, let's be honest. And we just told each other we have to have each other back. Like, we've been through worse than this, and just have pull her back because she would want us to win this game for her.
Pete?
Man, first of all, Kim Mulkey, did you see the brawl SEC championship game, LSU, South Carolina? South Carolina stays undefeated.
Why do we let her slide with so much?
Kim Mulkey.
Is it because she dressed funky and she got like this hip thing to where they invite her to the barbecue so she get away with saying crazy? I mean, I don't know.
Michael Jordan showed her love at her, induction into the Hall of Fame. Look, man, love. I'm about sick and tired of it, love. I'm sick and tired of it, bro.
Because they don't give that cool factor to Dawn at all. They always
No.
give Don as this Gino, the dude from UConn. They give her that kind of makeup.
No, they
But
definitely try to paint Don as like the villain.
as the and I don't want to say villain, but it ain't how they talk about Kim.
You can definitely say villain because that's what it is, bro. That's what it is.
They don't be giving her no love, in my opinion. How they should for a team that's been consistently great. Not no team that won and then been all right and got a couple players. We're talking about somebody that's a standard of greatness. Standard. Like, it's like, that's why she knows how to handle situations like this, because she's like, look, we used to. It is crazy. She, like Michael said, they treat her like she's an outsider when she's the queen of all of it. But they give Kim Mulkey like this underdog, like, oh, like she's, I don't get it, man. It's definitely petty.
And then, you know what, Left? Angel Reese, I love you. But you sat there at that press conference and talked about how hard you played and had the audacity to say, we're not afraid of South Carolina. You ran in the other, when everybody else ran to the fray, you ran in other direction.
She looked at it and then she went the other way.
She wanted
people running by her. She didn't even stop to say nothing.
She was talking trash to Cardozo all game. All game. She was talking trash to Cardozo the first matchup, where she fouled out, by the way.
Overly aggressive. You overly aggressive.
Just talking trash. And when Cardozo flat out pushed Flo J down, and Flo J was wrong. He knew she was wrong. He was right to apologize to Don Staley. But when Cardozo came up as the enforcer that she should be for her team, after all that talking, you up here in the press conference selling wolf tickets. We not scared of them. You are. Obviously, you scared. When it goes down, you showed that you were scared. So you can sit your tail along with your head coach on the petty train. And Flo J, your brother, man, come on. You jumping over score tables, bro?
To do nothing, though. You know what I mean? You look like you went over there, you jumped, and then you looked at it, saw how big she was, and was like, let's talk about this. Let's talk. I didn't think. Because he tried to, like.
I didn't think this all the way through.
He got there, he was like, oh, let me. And then before he could even make a move, the police was on him. So it was like, you wasted that opportunity. Like, if I'm Flaw J, I'm like, man, I can't even show you no love on that, brother. You didn't even help me up. It'd be different if he ran on the court to pick Flaw J up and take her away from the action. He went on there and was like, let's have a conversation.
You embarrassed me.
Yeah, that's an embarrassment.
You embarrassed me.
That's the embarrassment. You
absolute, like, what are you doing? You flat out embarrassed me.
You got all that. I'm talking about you was quick. I said, oh, boom, you caught everybody off guard. The police was like, oh, you ready to stand there and look crazy. Even Kim Mulkey was like, man, get out the way, man. You in the helping nobody. You just standing there, like, just shocked. Like, oh, man. When being real goes wrong, man, I don't know what's wrong with Buddy, man. How'd he feel so compelled? That's what it is.
Look, man, Lucky Lefty podcast. And like I said, shout out, first of all, we said it, we predicted it halfway through the season. Notre Dame would have Freshman of the Year on men's and women's side in basketball. Hannah Hidalgo, Marcus Burke. Shout out to the women for winning the ACC conference tournament and defeating Virginia Tech. Everything they had to fight through this year is a testament to not only Coach Neil Ivey, the greatness of Hannah Hidalgo, but the way the team has really progressed throughout the year. And then Notre Dame's men's team ended the season strong. Nobody expected them to be middle of the pack, middle of the pack. They literally gave 3 or 4 games away that they should have won. The season could have been better, but it's still a great season. It's a lot of talent. I tried to tell everybody Michael Shrewsbury was the real deal. Everybody was like, man, how good. I'm like, I've been watching this dude.
Have they made it to the tournament?
In the Big Ten. The tournament's this weekend. Conference tournament is this weekend. They're not going to make the tournament unless they win the conference tournament.
See, that's what. Okay, so the women's championships was the week before, right? Okay.
Yeah,
because I was trying to.
Conference tournament.
All right.
Yeah,
I didn't see no men's games. That's why I was like, they just totally just forgot about the men's.
The championship week started yesterday.
Right. Okay.
Yesterday, it continues all week into the weekend. So the Big Ten, I don't like it. The Big Ten conference championship for over 20 years was actually bouncing back and forth between Chicago and Indianapolis. And I
the
think
Big Ten in Chicago like married. I don't know why they
just have it at the United Center every year, dude.
Yeah, they making it difficult. Big Ten media days in Chicago, like
the offices are in Chicago.
Yeah, it's like what we talking about. Chicago's a better venue, I think, than in Indianapolis, but whatever.
Man, Eric Spadell, thank you for the super chat. Just shouting out my guys and LL Nation. Shout out to you, Eric. Truman, again, how does Kennedy Urlacher look at, man, Kennedy Urlacher, just red shirt, man. Okay? Don't even expect much from Kennedy Urlacher. He's just one of those kids, man. He has to hit the weight room. And he really didn't get a lot of reps. So instead of me trying to make something up,
you can trust a legacy kid, though. You can trust a legacy kid. But
yeah,
you know that he's getting told the right information. So it's different than not being there yet and not having the right information.
Now, I have to ask you, Left, because I don't want to be the old dude on my lawn. I don't want to be that. I just want to ask you. Should we put the young kid on the petty train for impregnating Dre? I just want to ask. I didn't just want to do it.
Man, it's one of those things where because social media, you can get in touch and in reach with damn near anybody. You know, everybody got a crush growing up. You know what I mean? So back in the day, it would be hard to find Bill Cosby's wife on the internet.
It was Denise Huxtable for me.
It would be hard back then. That's why it stayed on TV.
Hey.
Now you get a little million followers, you get an attention as a young guy. She gotta notice you. Man. So it's one of those things, man. It's a technology has made all this a little weird, and things that used to not be acceptable then. You know, the DMs changing everything. So
it goes down in the DMs.
It goes down in the DMs, man. That private conversation go a long way. So because it stayed private for so long, I mean, you know, you got people that are crazy out here.
His paycheck doesn't hurt though.
It's just where the big homies at?
Look, your boy is the big homie in the league. What you talking about? Yeah, where are the big homies? Because your boy has painted a beautiful picture. He has put up one of the best mirages and facades in the history of the NBA. Because he really has painted himself as a one-woman man. He really has.
What are you talking about, LeBron?
The ultimate family man. He has done a great job of painting that picture. Lord knows, it's far from the truth. But I'm gonna keep my mouth closed. I'm not gonna be that dude. I'm not gonna be that dude. I'm not gonna be that dude. That's all I'm saying.
Wait a minute. You saw he was sitting. He was within himself. He wasn't tripping. You know, he was within himself, man. He wasn't. Man, I thought he handled himself as best as he could. Now you talking about his employer.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is
his employer.
I'm not even talking about him getting rubbed up on the sideline. I'm not even talking.
Oh, see how you describing it? Now he getting rubbed up.
Oh, he was definitely getting rubbed up. He was definitely getting rubbed up on the sideline, dog. He might as well have taken it back to the training room The way he was getting rubbed on.
You know why that came out? Because everybody was talking about how Jordan can't go left. That's why. That was the distraction. They threw the LeBron distraction in there, and they didn't want to address that Jordan can't go left. That's all.
Man, it has
That's
nothing to
what
do
Twitter
with
been talking about.
it has nothing to do with Michael Jordan, dog. The dude was getting rubbed up on the sideline. I felt uncomfortable for him, dog. I'm gonna be honest. I felt uncomfortable for him, bro. I really did. I was like, man, look here, man. I probably would, because what do? If you get up, it's disrespect. Like
it's his employer.
Yes. And her girl. You know what I mean? I can only imagine what the whisper was like, look here. We got a room at the top of the
man, LeBron.
The Beverly.
Listen, man, it's just I think it's
Savannah definitely was like, yo, we gotta talk.
Is it though, really? I mean,
hey, bro. Yeah, man.
Really?
Would you rather Savannah say we have to talk than Savannah go up to the offices of the Los Angeles Lakers?
She would. Now you know she wouldn't do no crazy stuff like that.
Left. Where's Savannah from? Where's Savannah from?
Wait a minute. We talking about
Savannah from? Because you're familiar with this. Where's Savannah James from? Does Savannah look like she holds her tongue? Let's keep it a buck. With LeBron James.
Not to LeBron.
That's my point. That's my point.
I don't think she's gonna go up to Lakerland though. She gonna talk to LeBron. I don't think it's gonna leave outside the house. But he definitely getting talked to for sure. He ain't escaping that one.
Yeah, maybe not. But she definitely, when he got to the crib, this what we doing?
Yeah, it's the he got to explain himself thing.
You want your daughter, this is what you want your daughter to see on Instagram? You want your daughter to see you getting rubbed up?
Oh, LeBron. It's all right, dog.
Yeah, dude. That's your OGs showing the other youngsters how to handle it in the NBA, boy. Go ahead and get rubbed up. Go ahead and get rubbed up, boy. He took the inverse of the M.A. Udoka situation. He was like, yo,
man, for real. At least he ain't crash out like M.A., man, because M.A. I just know it's hard. He's getting harder and harder to defend these days. I tell you that.
Hey, man, I'm here to tell you, man, I felt bad for the brother, man. I was like, oh, I grabbed myself. Like, oh, I'm uncomfortable right now.
He was trying to play it cool, though.
He tried to laugh it off.
Yeah,
he tried to. No, you can't do that, man. His whole time.
What would you have done, Sean? What would you have done?
Man, look. True story. Let me tell you how dangerous this is. See, this is why I have empathy.
you can
this is why I have empathy. Oh, yeah. Because there's levels to this. I don't think people understand there's levels to this, man. That's why I really paused on putting the young man on the petty train for impregnating Dre. All right, because there's levels to this, bro. I might have told this story before. Shared this story before. I went to my dad's pastor in New Orleans, who has passed on, Robert C. Blake Sr. His sons, Blakes, and I are really cool. So every time I would go down, Sam would take me. They had season tickets to the Hornets. And this is when Chris Paul was there. So we left straight from church one night. We still had our suits on left. We're sitting like our seats are like 4 seats down from Chris Paul's brother. They have great seats. So at halftime, he's like, come on. We go down into this little area and we walk in. Some of the best cookies I've ever tasted, bro. So I just like to put
cookies?
That up. Oh, yeah. Free food. Everything is like, man, get what you want. Little VIP area. And he walks off and says, man, I see somebody I know. I'll be right back. I'm cool. So they have the high boy tables that you stand at. And I'm standing at the high boy table. And I'm standing there eating my cookie. And I never forget 2 of the baddest I've ever seen walk up to me and say, "This is what scared me, Left."
Yeah, it scared you because it's too crazy at the moment.
This is what scared me. Not the fact that they walked up to me, but the fact that they said, "You're new. What's your name?"
You saw that's that transition, alley-oop, LeBron D Wade. Cause you like, oh,
I'm like, first of all, you're new. What the hell does that mean?
Now you know what that means. I ain't seen you around here before. Oh, really? I'm fresh.
No, immediately, I'm like, hey man, yo, I'm here with my boy. I'm just here to watch the game.
You be like, you know what? Don't even mind.
And you know what saved me? You know what saved me? I was like, yeah, we just came from church. We just came from church.
I actually was just talking to the Lord.
Yes.
Don't even worry about how I got here.
It's they. So when I hear about this with athletes, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot compare it to your everyday life. It's absolute levels to this temptation. Absolute levels. And I wanted no part of it. I didn't even want to play with it. I didn't even want to participate, Left. And it, you know how you playfully flirt. I didn't even want to do it, Left.
Because you was already
I was in over my head
in the position.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, I can't.
Nah.
Because shooting fish in the barrel way easier than just fishing.
No.
And this is just an opportunity. You like, listen, I can't. Don't even.
I feel like the next step is y'all gonna offer me a drink and drug my drink. I just feel it. Yeah. Like the plan is already. You're new. You're new.
You're new here.
You're fresh meat. What's your name?
Yeah, that's man. They need to have those situations play out in school. Man, they need to put those. Have all guys sit in the classroom and play those scenarios. Be like, these are tough situations to get through in life.
And when I tell you they were bad, they just approached me the wrong way.
Yeah, you threw me off, man.
You scared me with that. You're new. I'm new. What the heck? Where am I at? Like,
yeah. It's just
like, do y'all know everybody that comes up in this piece?
Nah, they came to you, Sean. They said you stood out. It was the Jesus on you. That's what it was. It was the Jesus all on you. But they said, wait a minute, that's a different dude. He just came from something, man. Good grief.
Man, Lucky Lefty Podcast, great show, Left. Don't forget Apple Podcasts, Spotify, catch us, man. You can also catch some of our shows now, not only on CFB Nation, but the Irish Breakdown feed. You know, our practice report is over there at the Irish Breakdown feed. Don't forget patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. You'll get the Petty Train over there today if you didn't see it. And then subscribe to us on YouTube, man. We've been picking up subscriptions, man. Appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up for us. Share, let everybody know. Home of the Misguided Passion, Lucky Lefty Podcast, forever committed to spinning it different. Left, great show. We'll tap in with some more Notre Dame football talk tomorrow right here on the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a great Tuesday, but most of all, make sure that you spin it different.